introducing this bad boy, all of the iconic spots on Tsinghua, pursue my master's degree in China is because obviously I had to go for the #1 school in the country, right? Tsinghua's interview was hands down the most intense and difficult one in my entire life. Did tunnel vision on one goal, and that's Tsinghua. Like literally there was no backup option. Your personality matters the most, especially during the interview performance. And if your goal in life is to experience, then you're always gonna be winning.
Hi, Editor Matt here. Before we jump in, just a quick disclaimer that everything I share in this video is purely based off of my personal experience and learning journey. Please keep in mind that the content I share will be heavily based from my background in the business field, so I'm really sorry if I can't provide much insight on other fields, but I still hope that my story could help you guys in one way or another. I'm also not sponsored or associated by any organizations or entities. I'm just making this video to share what I learned in hopes that it can help someone out there too. So I'm really grateful to Tsinghua, and I'll continue to keep learning each day. With that being said, let's get back to the video.
Hi guys! Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Med and I'm so happy that you're here. As you can see from the title, I recently got into Tsinghua University, and in this video, I'm going to break down exactly my 1-year application journey for it, what mistakes I did so that you guys could avoid them, and how you can succeed to get this bad boy too. Now, if this video resonates with you, please hit the subscribe and like button so that you won't miss a future upload from me. Okay, I wanted to start this video off by introducing this bad boy. As you can see, it is so pretty. This is the reason why I've been gone on YouTube for like the past 3 to 4 weeks. Look at how pretty this is. Oh my god. It feels so smooth as well. It's like a mural of all of the iconic spots on Tsinghua campus, which I was so lucky to have like visited this past week. My friend showed me around and it was just so pretty. It felt so surreal to actually like get this in my hands and take pictures with it on campus. And this is my offer letter right here. Okay, so for today's video, I've categorized it into 8 different segments, starting with an introduction, why Tsinghua, the application process, which I will walk you guys through step by step, my stats, my personal statement, the admission results, the challenges, and how you can succeed as well. Okay, a little bit of a background lore on me. If you're new here, hi, my name is Med. I'm originally from Jakarta, Indonesia, and I'm Chinese Indonesian. So basically, I just graduated from Liverpool University in Suzhou. Now, I chose that university because I originally wanted to study in the UK, but then I realized after studying 1 year in China, I actually fell in love with the country, the culture, and I reconnected with my cultural heritage. And what made me decide to like pursue my master's degree in China is because I decided to work in Shanghai after I graduated. And where this is coming from is because I did 2 internships in Shanghai previously, and summer of 2025 I worked at an investment research firm in the private equity sector, and it was like hands down the best 3 months of my life, despite the insane commute between 2 cities for 2 hours every single day. You guys know that if you are an OG, you would know the Employed But Broke series on my TikTok. But yeah, so basically that internship, it made me realize like, hey, I really want to build my future career in corporate China. But then I came to learn about some limitations on foreigner work visas, right? So for example, there's the 2-year rule where you're supposed to have 2 years of working experience before you can like get a full-time offer. And I found out that if you have a master's degree from mainland China, you could essentially bypass a lot of like the visa obstacles and bottlenecks and land a really good job. And maybe a lot of you guys are wondering, why would you even want to work in China? Like, we all know the work-life balance is pretty bad, like the whole 996 and everything, and you know, people are workaholics here, and I won't deny that those allegations are like true. But as a foreigner who worked, okay, granted it was not like a full-time job, so my KPIs and expectations were not as high or strict as the full-timers, but I can say that to an extent we have this foreigner privilege where like the regular Chinese working expectations are not placed upon us. But other than that, when I was working in Shanghai, I genuinely loved the lifestyle, and I just fell in love with the city, the work, like everything. And I just knew, you know, there's like an instinctual feeling that you're gonna be in this place doing this certain type of thing. Yeah, that was like my vision. And so I thought, okay, what's like the next best thing? What's like my destination? Obviously, I had to go for the #1 school in the country, right? right? And so that led me to two options, Peking University and Tsinghua University. Now, after doing my research, I knew that I was gonna take a master's in management program because back then I was dead set on entering management consulting, right? I thought that really fit my personality, etc. And then I was thinking like, hey, this is like a good degree to equip me into the industry because I don't necessarily want to go into pure finance. So for my undergrad, I took marketing and it was English taught at XJTLU. So as someone who never took Chinese taught classes but then who wants to work in China, obviously I thought that, okay, I need to take Chinese taught programs. And so that led me to Tsinghua's MIM program and Peking ones as well. Now Peking's is in their HSBC Business School, which is based in Shenzhen campus. And their program is actually quite unique where they do 1 year in the UK and 1 year in Shenzhen campus. And I knew that I was gonna go to Beijing because I felt that the resources, the network, and the connections that I wanted to make was gonna be in Beijing. I actually visited Beijing that exact summer that I finished my private equity internship, and it was like another calling. It was like another sign for me, okay, I see myself in the city, like studying in either Tsinghua or Peking. But then as soon as I found out Peking was in Shenzhen, I completely kind of like bypassed that option, like I didn't apply. And so I just like did tunnel vision on one goal, and that's Tsinghua. Like literally there was no backup option. It was just Tsinghua or nothing, all or nothing. And so with this all or nothing mindset, I unknowingly put a lot of pressure onto myself, and I'm a very like anxious person in general. So I did my research so ahead in advance. I reached out to like tens of like seniors, alumni, mutuals who would like get me any information on the program that I wanted at Tsinghua. But even if Peking's program was on Beijing campus, Tsinghua would still be my choice. Why? Because Tsinghua's program is bilingual. So that means like 60% of my classes are going to be in English, whereas the remaining 40% would be in Chinese. And I knew that this was a really good opportunity to get my spoken Chinese and written and reading skills to, skyrocket and prepare myself for the corporate settings. Also, last week I got this bad boy too. It's so pretty. It's the official Tsinghua x Adidas collab, as you can see from the iconic white stripes here, and it's a really cute cap. Oh my god, I'll be wearing it a lot on campus. Oh my god, it's so pretty. And also this souvenir store is actually open to public, so you guys can come visit whenever you're in Beijing and pick up a few stuff for yourself as well. So this is what the portal looks like, right? So as an international, you would press 国际, and this is where I enter the email address, etc. You guys can use Gmail, there's no problem at all. But for the application for China government scholarship, I really recommend using Outlook, Yahoo, or QQ Mail because sometimes the verification codes just don't go through. But anyways, that's for a separate video that will be coming next week. So please click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you guys won't miss it. Okay, now that we're in the portal, starting with the application information, right? So very basic, easy steps. You just fill in your personal info. And the next section is about document. The first one obviously is your passport, and then your bachelor's degree certificate or pre-graduation certificate. Now, if you guys are in high school, this would mean your high school diploma, but if you haven't graduated yet, it would mean your grade 10 and grade 11 academic transcripts. But for my case, since I was applying during the final year of my undergrad, I had to submit this thing called 在读证明, which means it's an evidence letter that states you're still studying in college. Next, your academic transcripts, your GPA, and HSK certificate. Now, when it comes to HSK, okay, so if your program is Chinese taught, HSK is mandatory. The threshold is HSK 5, but if possible, HSK 6 would prepare you better for Chinese taught programs, because I've heard from a lot of classmates who took Chinese taught, they felt that even HSK 6 is not enough to help them catch up with the peers. Yeah, but then for English taught, you usually have to submit an IELTS score, and if you want to apply for the CSC government scholarship, it's recommended to submit both HSK and IELTS as it can boost your chances of winning the scholarship. Okay, next is my GPA and 7-degree authentication report. Okay, this I need to brief you guys because it was the bane of my existence. Honestly, this was the most difficult part of my entire paperwork process because since I have 2 degrees, right? So 1 degree is from the Chinese University, Xi'an and the other one was from University of Liverpool. Now, according to regulations from the Chinese Ministry of Education, you need need to get your diploma verified by mainland China in order for them to like accept it. So for Chinese universities, Chinese degrees, they have to go through the CSSD, Center for Student Services and Development. And for you guys who I'm assuming are graduating from other countries or your home countries, you would have to verify your degree through the CSCSE, which is Chinese Service Center for Scholarly Exchange. Now, I will link both of these websites in the description box below, and the system is kind of like buggy sometimes. Like, it was really hard for me to like verify my ID if like the passport is like not 90 degrees or something. It's just very tricky, okay? It's just like technical difficulty. Okay, next is documents required by the department or school. So because I'm applying to Tsinghua School of Economics and Management, they do require my CV to see if I had any past internships, work experiences, yada yada yada. So I submitted my CV in Chinese and English. However, for example, for the architecture school, design school, and other types of schools, maybe your required portfolio is different. Okay, recommendation letters. This part is not difficult if you prepare in advance, because when you're asking a professor who is super busy in either their own personal lives, their career, or their research, you need to ask them way ahead. You know, you don't want to trouble people. Basically, in Chinese, we have the saying called 不要麻烦别人, right? Like, don't bring trouble to others. I asked my professors like so early on, even before I started my application. If you guys are in high school or in your current university, I really recommend looking for professors whose academic backgrounds or career fields or research departments are really associated with your chosen program at Tsinghua. Because I guess as an admissions officer, it's just very reassuring for them to see that, oh, these professors who are experts in their field, in their industries, are vouching for you who also wants to pursue a career or dream in that field. What they would do is like Tsinghua would send them a separate email, a separate link where they can like submit their recommendation letter, and we students are not getting in the way. So okay, and next we have to pay the application fee, which is 800 yuan RMB, and that is actually pretty standard for most Chinese universities here. Okay, here's my fake glasses. So also, look at my tumbler, isn't it so cute? I got it from Flower Nose. They sent me this PR surprise package the other day, and it's just so pretty. Oh my god, thank you so much, Flower Nose. And it's actually my favorite makeup brand right now. Literally here, this is my lip tint from Flower Nose. It's what I'm wearing right now, and also my blush as well. And next is the interview. So after reaching out to a lot of mutuals, seniors, alumni who went to Tsinghua, I found out that Tsinghua has this like most popular interview time window, which is the beginning of January. And I was actually on a trip, on a vacation to Chongqing, Chengdu, and Jiuzhaigou during that time. And I knew that the interview was gonna come any day. And it came during the day that I booked my motorcycle appointment at Chongqing, which was like, you guys know that like viral trend. Oh my god, that was like so fun. It was the best side quest that I did this year, honestly. But yeah, I knew that it was gonna come during that week, so I actually prepared and studied for my interview during the entire month of December. Now during December, I was honestly under a lot of stress and pressure, because not only was I applying for Tsinghua, but I was applying non-stop to ByteDance, and I documented my journey in my series called Internship Hunting with Zero Connections. And I think that month alone, I went through like 3 or 4 interviews with ByteDance. You know, the first time I went to their final round of interviews, but then realized it was a full-time role for Douyin. I couldn't join because I was only looking for an internship. But yeah, because I was talking to this friend who was a master's engineering student, her interview was actually a presentation of her prior thesis research and like who she is. It's like a 10-minute profile pitch of you to the professors. And I thought to myself like, oh, at that time I couldn't reach out to anyone from the business school, so I was like, you know what, let's just take some reference from the engineering school and like applied it onto my own case, which is exactly what I did. So I prepared this whole like 20-page presentation about me, why I chose Tsinghua, why I chose this program, and like basically compile my entire stats into one presentation to kind of like raise up the professors during the interview. Apparently, as I was talking to some people, they said their interview was fully in Chinese. Some others said it was fully in English. So I was so confused, like what is going on? Only then after that I find out that if your program is Chinese taught, then your interview will be in Chinese, and vice versa. For my case, it's a bit unique because remember, my program is bilingual. Now, because they see I'm an international applicant, I think they purposefully made the interview more in Chinese. I would say my interview was like 80% in Chinese, 20% in English, because it's like a really good chance for them to assess and evaluate my Chinese spoken skills as well. Tsinghua's interview was hands down the most intense and difficult one in my entire life, because you don't have not one, not two, not three, not even four professors, but five professors, a whole panel on a table sitting across from you. Well, it was online, but you get what I mean. Yeah, 5 people judging you at the same time, and they had like really serious facial expressions, so it was really hard to read what they were thinking. I think you guys could prepare for like the really basic questions. I could list down the most frequently asked questions in any types of interviews, honestly. You can find that in the PDF file below. I think what made this interview more intense for me was the fact that all of these 5 professors, they had my CV printed out right in front of them, and then they really dug through each line of my CV. And the thing is, like, obviously I've prepared myself for that, you know, I've already anticipated that they would ask me a lot of questions on what I did and achieved in the past. However, what I was not really prepared for was they really nitpicked the technical details. That was like my miss, that was my bad. I actually cried after the interview. I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm sorry for disappointing you, but I don't think I'll get in. And I was genuinely like crying my eyes out. But then I had that Chongqing motorcycle appointment, so I I was crying on a motorcycle low-key, but then I felt like life was okay again. That was so funny. Okay, I might be wrong in this hypothesis, but I genuinely believe that I really showcased my personality well throughout the entire interview, and I think it kind of like gain bonus cookie points for them. When you remember to smile, generally be authentic, and have like a really real conversation, because they want to get to know you as a person, right? They can feel that energy. Like, as cringe as it sounds, it's the most basic but true advice, and that's just to be yourself, because no other applicant has your energy. No other applicant, you know, looks or sounds like you. Okay, next we're gonna jump into my stats at the time of the application. Right, so as I mentioned, I was a marketing undergraduate program, and I was actually ranked first in my class at the time of application. This is a genuine opinion of mine, but I don't think my stats are that good. I'm not gonna lie, there are pros and cons to being in such a competitive and academically rigorous culture. Obviously the pros, you know, it drives you, it motivates you to like be more disciplined, to like hustle harder. But the cons, it kind of gets to my mentality at a point where I built up this inferiority complex compared to my Chinese classmates, because they be like running multiple businesses on the side, you know, they have their own startups, join every hackathon competitions out there, and they have internships lined up like from the big brands companies stacked up against each other. And to be fair, connections are very important in China, and I was just your random international student with 0 connections, right? How would I have any connections? I don't have any family here. So yeah, I guess this is why I was super active in making content about like internship hunting and like working as an international student in China, etc., because I know that there are a lot of people like me out there who are foreigners in China, and we don't have the same resources, facilities, and connections as the locals do. Yeah, so I really hustled every single summer of my undergrad, because I successfully completed 3 different internships. I think if you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you are already quite familiar with the storyline, with my backstory lore. So yeah, I was in biotech industry as a marketing intern for my first summer, and then the second summer I was in the private equity sector for client services, investment research in Shanghai, and then the third one was at ByteDance at TikTok Shop. So yeah, I think my content creation portfolio helped my application stand out a little bit more as compared to the other peers, because as you guys know, I've been creating content quite consistently for the past year or so, specifically about the education niche in China, the travel sector, and like raising awareness about Chinese culture, traveling here, etc. As for competitions, I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't get many opportunities to join any. I did want to join this one hackathon at school, but like I couldn't find the teammates to do it with me. I only did this one specific competition. It was kind of like MUN, but it was BRI, so Belt and Road Initiative, which, as you guys know, is a massive infrastructure and technology economic initiative launched by China in 2013. So the negotiation and debate simulation was based off of that. So we had to win first place within our school first in order to advance to the final rounds in Shanghai, which we also happened to win first place National Gold Award. And what I noticed in an attractive profile is that if you have had any projects or organizations that show cultural exchange between your home country and China, that's a really like sexy point for the admission. That's what I believe. Like, let's say you're from Germany and you're highly active and involved in the German women student association in China, you know, organizing events, doing projects to help out other students. It's a really plus point. Okay, next for my personal statement, I also made a TikTok post on this, so you guys can go stalk my TikTok right here for more details. From what I learned through writing different personal statements is that there's this very simple formula that you could follow, which is the past, present, and future, right? Because as an admissions officer, you would want to read a coherent storyline that makes sense from the past, like, oh, where are you coming from? What's your backstory, right? Do you have like a sad emotional story or like a super like great ambition or whatever? Put that in your past. But then in your present, your past led you to this decision right now that you're applying to our school, to our program. So like connect the bridge from past to present. And then from the present, you've learned that, okay, you know, I've learned from my past that I want to do ABC, and therefore through ABC I believe that I could achieve XYZ in the future, right? See how that bridges from the past to the oh my god, I speak too fast. See how that connects the bridge between your present and your future. And you don't even have to worry about making that storyline as consistent or linear as possible, because let me tell you, stories with detours and plot twists are the most interesting, right? Like when we watch K-drama, like, oh, the villain was the best friend after all? You know, the plot twist is what makes your life interesting. So your mission is to showcase how this plot twist can make you stand out in your personal statement application. Now, what I noticed about Chinese schools is that they're not necessarily in favor of emotional stories, just like my personal observations, right? Because from what I'm aware of, for applying to US universities, UK, like people could start their personal statement with like a sad story of what happened in their past, blah blah blah. But Chinese culture, I would say, is very result oriented. You know, they want to know what you achieved in the past and what you can provide value for in the future. Like what can you achieve more in the future? Okay, next, the admission results. After I did my interview in the first week of January, and remember when I said I was on vacation for those entire 2 weeks. I went to Chongqing, Chengdu, Jiuzhaigou. Super pretty, by the way. You guys should visit whenever you're in China. But yeah, I was in Harbin, literally on top of a snowy mountain, looking at random snowman, and the sun was setting. It was the most like movie-like scenario ever when I got that email. Like, I'm like, I got accepted to Tsinghua University. Congratulations, you have been accepted into Tsinghua University. Like, bro, I was crying on top of a snowy mountain in negative 30-degree weather. And I was traveling with my best friend, and she also applied to Tsinghua, but for the finance program. And we were both like jumping up and down in the snow together because we really went through this together. The mental journey of that fear, the uncertainty, and anxiety, it's often more difficult than actually applying to that job or school itself. Because are you able to deal with rejection? Are you able to deal with failure after what happens? I think that's the hard part. Okay, we finally come to the final section of this video on how you can succeed too. Now, I don't think I can say anything inspirational or deep like that, but I did compile a few bullet points that I picked up throughout my video, and that's number one, you apply early. As I said, the application window starts from late September of the previous academic year all the way up until February. You still need to double check for each program's application deadline. And then next is to apply to a program that is somewhat closely associated to your background, right? For example, I was already in the business school, a marketing program for my undergrad, and then now I'm choosing strategy management for my master's. Okay, next, good grades are a bare minimum, but I genuinely don't think it's like the deal breaker, right? Because if you have an impressive portfolio outside of the classroom, that is very attractive as well. So basically, I'm telling you guys to go on more side quests. Like, say yes to that competition, say yes to that random like volunteering organization, nonprofit. Like, just say yes to as many chances as you can get, because even if you fail, even if you don't perform well in that particular project, you always walk away with a lesson. Like, you always learn something. And if your goal in life is to experience, then you're always gonna be winning, because it doesn't matter if the experience is shitty or really good. You are experiencing something and you always learn something from it. And I think this is my final advice, and it's a bit more personal, but I generally feel like your personality matters the most, especially during the interview performance, because there is literally no one like you in this entire planet, and you are the best at performing as yourself. But yeah, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for making it to this point, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see in my next video, or if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them down below. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button so you won't miss any future uploads from me, because I will be having a lot of tsinghua vlogs coming up soon. So yeah, wherever you are, have a great day ahead, and yeah, you got this. Bye bye, see you.